Hey, what's up guys? So today we're going to run through the top 5 essential skills that every mountain biker needs to know. I'm also going to give you the reasons why you need to know, so let's dive right into it. So first up, the very first skill that you need to know is the track stand. The track stand is super important and it's all about balance. Balance is super critical while riding a mountain bike. You're going to be going uphill, downhill, all over the show. And if you perfect the track stand and get your balance right, it's going to help in all other areas of your riding. So get to practicing somewhere nice and flat that you can tip over sideways, and guarantee you the skill will help you immensely. So the top tips for practicing your track stand. The very first thing is that you need to practice. Find somewhere that you can practice comfortably. So somewhere like a nice flat grassy field, somewhere where you can tip over sideways and get comfortable with the skill. It's going to help if you get comfortable with it while practicing, and then you can apply it on the trail. Next up, I like to have a little bit of back brake engaged. So I like to engage my back brake and keep a little bit of pressure in the pedals. This helps me keep nice and stable. Next is my body positions. I like to get my hips slightly forward on the bike towards your stem, and then what you want to do is you want to have the bike moving around underneath you. So you don't want your body moving around the bike, you actually want the bike to be floating around underneath you. That's keeping your core and your torso nice and stable. Lastly, you want to have the front wheel, just allowing it, let that front wheel move a little bit from side to side. It's kind of helping with your balance and letting that bike move freely around underneath you. Practice this skill and it's going to improve your balance and improve a lot of other areas of your riding. Next up is braking. Braking is an underrated skill and 100% something that you can practice and you should practice. Learning to understand how your brakes work independently of each other is super important. You need to learn to use your front brake, your back brake, and then combine them together and understand how that's going to maximize your riding. Really important, something you need to practice and think about, and it's going to help you slow down and help you speed up. Tips for improving your braking. So a couple things that you need to understand straight off the bat is learning to feather your brakes. So finding where your brakes are engaging and then not just letting them on, off, on, off. We're not looking for that kind of braking. We're looking where they're engaging and trying to slow down in a controlled manner. Anytime you come up to a red light in a car, you're not getting there last second and slamming on brakes, locking up the wheels. You're coming in a nice controlled manner and it shows that you're in control. So don't skid on your brakes. Next thing is understanding how your brakes are acting on camber. So any times that your body is turning, you're leaning, the camber of the mountain is very important. If you're locking up your brakes, they become heavy, so they're going to want to slide out, okay? So you need to understand that you might need to let off the back wheel or the front wheel a little bit depending on the camber. Very important to understand. The last thing is that when you're braking actually loads your suspension. So it's compressing, it's forcing your weight down into the bike, it's loading your suspension. So anytime you're coming through and you're about to hit a hole or something like a root, you want to actually let off your brakes for a second. That's going to uncompress the suspension, allow the suspension to absorb that hit, and then after that you can get straight back on the brakes again. Braking is very important. The best riders in the world are the best at braking and slowing down. It's something that you 100% should be practicing. Enjoy. Next up, we have bunny hopping. Bunny hopping opens up a whole new chapter in your riding. It allows you to get up and over stuff in the trail without having to stop, walk, stuff that's normally a little bit more square on, that maybe feels a little bit uncomfortable. It's a lot easier to carry speed, just bunny hop straight up and over stuff. It's also the precursor to its bigger cousin, jumping. It's an important skill, something that you have to learn, and I'm telling you now, it's going to improve your riding. Tips on getting it up. The bunny hop, getting the bunny hop up. So the first thing that you're going to want to do, it's about using your weight. You're not trying to just compress your suspension down and pick the bike up underneath you. So you're not trying to just push down and pull up with your limbs. That's not what you want to do. That's the incorrect technique. What you want to do is use your body weight to help you and lever and get the bike up. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to shift our weight over the back wheel, right? that straightens out our arms, that's gonna pull the front wheel up. When my weight's over the back wheel, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna stand my hips up and forward into the technique. They're gonna stand up, and that's where my height is gonna start coming from. I'm gonna project my weight upwards. When I'm shooting my weight upwards, there's two things that are gonna happen. The first is that my wheels, my pedals are gonna tilt forward, and I'm gonna sweep my feet back and up to help lift the back of the bike up. So when I'm at this point over here, as I'm shifted my weight up and forward, I'm now gonna sweep and tilt my feet back and pull the back wheel up, and I'm gonna rotate my wrists forward. That's the last little trick to lifting the Bunnyhop up. So as I'm at this peak here, I'm gonna rotate my wrists forward, and that's gonna help get that back wheel up. I hope this helped. Make sure that you learn how to bunny up and get it up. Enjoy. Bonsoir, just a little reminder, if you are enjoying the channel, please like and subscribe. It would mean a lot. I'm loving making the content. Peace. Next up is cornering. Learn to embrace your inner NASCAR and learn how to corner faster. Improving your speed from cornering comes from your ability to carry speed out of the corners. It's not about how fast you can come into the corner and lose speed out. It's about how fast and how much speed you can generate out of a corner. That's how you're going to learn to speed up your cornering. So let's practice, get to it, think NASCAR. Tips on how to corner. Cornering is super important. There's a couple of things that go into it. So the very first thing that you want to think about is your entry and your exit. You want to enter and set up nice and wide as possible, and you want to exit as wide as possible. This is going to allow you to carry as much speed as you can. If you're coming up the inside, you're going to T-bone the corner, you're going to lose a lot of speed. Next thing, your body position. You want to get your body position, make sure it's nice and low. You don't want to be hanging your weights off the back of the bike. Again, making sure that you're looking ahead. Very important. You want to open up your hips slightly. You want to turn your hips slightly into the corner, open up your inside knee, dropping your outside foot. This is going to allow you to lean the bike over a little bit more, which is also going to help you weight the inside of your tires, get a good amount of traction. Cornering is basic, but really advanced. Something that it's going to take a little bit of time to practice, but I recommend practicing in a parking lot, practice on trails that you know and love, something that's repeatable, that you can do over and over. It's going to improve your confidence and hopefully get you shredding through those corners a lot quicker. Next up, we have the wheelie. The wheelie is about mastering balance and braking. So learning to balance on your bike. Once you find that balancing point, learning to stabilize, use your core and move around on the bike to keep that front wheel up. It's also about mastering your braking, learning how to feather that brake while the back wheel's up. If you master the wheelie, it's going to show that you're definitely on a better path and have learned to master a couple of the basic mountain biking skills. Really important, also going to make you look cool in front of your mates. Enjoy it. Tips on how to wheelie. So the first thing you want to do, nice easy gear. Next thing you want to do, drop your chest down, get your pedals into a pedal kick position, and just as you're in this down position, you're going to throw your chest back and you're going to pedal kick at the same time, and that's going to get the front wheel up. Your weight's going to be over the back wheel. You don't want it too far over the back, otherwise it's going to tip over, and you don't want it too far forward. So you don't want to bend your arms, bring your chest to your stem. That's just going to drop your front wheel. So you want to be in that position. Keep your chin up, looking ahead. As soon as you drop your chin as well, it's going to drop that front wheel down. So you want to have your hands covering your brakes. It's also very important. As you're tipping over backwards, your brakes, your back brake is actually what's going to prevent you from tipping over backwards. And your pedals are actually what's going to help keep the front wheel up. So it's a bit of a balance of your back brake and your pedals that are going to keep you in that position. Also, you can use your chest to kind of just adjust and compensate as you're in that position from side to side as well. It's a little bit of a tricky one to balance, but it's something that just comes with practice. Practice it on somewhere that you can potentially loop out. And if you are going to loop out, just kick your legs out sideways and backwards. It's a little bit easier with flat pedals to practice this technique, but it's all about progression. Have fun.